Welcome back to the Hannahcast YouTube channel, and today it is time for final Oscar predictions for nominations. Yeah, this one is going to be really hard because not only do we have BAFTA nominations coming out after Oscar nominations, we also have Writers Guild nominations coming out after Oscar nominations, and even the American Cinema Editors Awards nominations, the Eddie Awards coming out after Oscar nominations. So many of these are just going to have to be just pure guesswork because I don't really know where the wind is blowing fully right now. So let's just take a look, shall we? For Best Picture, this is going to be tough because, well, we do have a lot of slots, like probably 1 through 7 are like the full-on locks at this point. One Battle After Another, Sinners, Hamnet, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value. This is the top 5 for me. I know people are going to say Frankenstein, but like Sentimental Value just swept the European Film Awards. So it's like, it's gonna get in. Yeah, did it do well at the guilds? Not really, but most international films don't. And it still got PGA. Let's not forget that. It still got PGA. So, yeah. Again, I currently think One Battle After Another is winning Best Picture, but there is a world where I can see eventually Sinners taking PGA, then SAG, and it's already going to win Writers Guild for Original Screenplay, because now Jafar Panahi is definitely not winning Original Screenplay right now. So this does complicate things. But, however, again, I'm not going to predict that Sinners is going to do that. Like, I will wait to see if that actually happens. I hope it happens. I want Sinners to win Best Picture. And as long as it gets the nominations it needs, which we'll go through, in this video, it should still be in contention to win Best Picture. But right now, the safe money right now is to bet on One Battle After Another. Hamnet, I do think is a very solid number 3. I know people are saying, but Marty Supreme's number 3. And also, I've actually seen Marty Supreme now, thanks to Least Cap, so everyone thank Least Cap in the comments. But yeah, I think it's great, actually. Like, I think Marty Supreme is great. But the thing is, it has stumbled in some areas in terms of the Oscar race so far. It missed the Golden Globe nomination. It missed for director, and it also missed the Globe nomination for score. And so it's kind of rocky in some areas, and so it does complicate things. Whereas Hamnet hasn't really missed a beat. I mean, sure, it didn't make ASC, but that's not like a critical award for it to not get nominated for. So, I don't know. Like, even at SAG, Hamnet was doubled down as a huge contender, even getting ensemble. Like, damn. And again, Marty Supreme also got ensemble as well. But I'm just seeing more consistent success with Hamnet so far. And plus, like, I do think Hamnet is closer to winning adapted screenplay than Marty Supreme is to winning original screenplay. So, yeah. And again, Sentimental Value, I just don't really think it's like that much of a stretch to say that it's number 5 for Best Picture. But yeah, another film that seems to have become just a full-on lock is Begonia. It has everything now. People doubted me. That Begonia was going to be like a big thing. But I was like, no, like, it got AFI, NBR, like, that was a very strong showing. And I didn't even predict it for Critics' Choice, and it still got that. And then it got PGA, which, again, I feel like kind of locked it in. It overperformed in SAG nominations, actually got Jesse Plemons in, and obviously BAFTA went so hard for it. So much so to where there is a chance that it could get nominated for Best Film over at BAFTA right now. So it's just very, very strong. There's just not really a reason to doubt Begonia right now. It's just very solidly, consistently getting in places. So yeah. Frankenstein, I have at number 7. You're probably wondering, wait, why do you think Frankenstein's below Begonia? Again, it's very marginal, like, who cares? But in the grand scheme of things, I could see, like, Yorgo Lanthimos pulling off, like, a surprise director nomination more than, Guillermo del Toro getting in. Because Guillermo del Toro just screams like the big blockbuster director, even though this isn't a Netflix film, but you know what I mean. Like, Del Toro just kind of screams the typical, Oscar director contender that eventually gets snubbed. It just depends on, like, who he's going to get snubbed to. Whereas Yorgo Lanthimos, like, I could just see him. I mean, he's going to get nominated at BAFTA regardless. I mean, hell, I think that's probably my best argument here. And again, we'll go into director here in a bit, but, Yorgo Lanthimos got shortlisted at BAFTA and Del Toro didn't. And the BAFTA's quite liked Frankenstein, so, yeah. Train Dreams, again, it hasn't been performing the greatest. Like, it got in at, like, Critics' Choice and PGA, but it didn't get in at the Golden Globes for Best Picture Drama, and it didn't get shortlisted at BAFTA, but it's still doing a lot better than Sing Sing did, which you could argue is number 11 for Best Picture. Like, Sing Sing only had Critics' Choice, whereas Train Dreams actually did get PGA, and I think the Netflix campaign really helped it. Like, it helped the film become a lot more visible, so, yeah. And then there are the last 2 slots, which everyone is eating themselves up over. But I'm just going to stick with the neon films. I'm sticking with Secret Agent because it had a great night at the Golden Globes, winning Best Actor in a Drama for Wagner Moura, and winning International Feature Film. I mean, hell, it's the International Feature frontrunner right now, which is ironic because I have Sentimental Value at number 5, but, like, Sentimental Value did not even win. Well, actually, no, it wasn't eligible for Critics' Choice because they changed the rules to where, like, if you're an international film nominated for Best Picture, you can't be nominated for the Critics' Choice Award, which is very weird, for International Feature, which is very weird. But even at the Golden Globes, they still went for Secret Agent. And there was able to be 2 speeches for that film, and, like, right before Oscar voting. I feel like this is kind of happening at the perfect time. I'm expecting Secret Agent to do very well with nominations. So, yeah. And I'm still it was just an accident. Like, yes, has it performed as well as it did than when it got, like, the Golden Globe nominations? Sure. But the alternatives, I just can't do. There's worse things to go off of with the alternatives than Accident. Because Accident is still probably getting original screenplay. I mean, again, just look at how many significant Golden Globe nominations it got. It got picture, director, and screenplay. That's nothing to scoff at. I can't even remember the last time a film was nominated for picture, director, and screenplay at the Golden Globes and missed the Oscar nomination for Best Picture. I just can't. And again, we'll talk about some of these other films here in a bit, but I'm just not buying some of the more populist picks. Blue Moon, I could weirdly see get in off of original screenplay and lead actor. And if they want, like, I'm trying to think of what else they could throw in there. I guess all they would really need is original screenplay and lead actor. And it is Sony Pictures Classics doing the campaign, so, you never want to completely count them out. No Other Choice, it's sad to see where this film has fallen because it didn't even get longlisted for adapted screenplay at BAFTA. Shameful. Oh wait, I forgot. I need to do this. But yeah, it is absolutely disgraceful what's happening to No Other Choice. I still don't think it's all that, like, impossible for it to get a Best Picture nomination. I mean, again, I keep in mind, it's like, yeah, it's at number 12, but it's at a pretty distant number 12, and same thing with Blue Moon. I'm pretty secure in my top 10, but No Other Choice, it still got nominated for adapted screenplay at the Critics' Choice Awards, which is still not nothing. It's still pretty significant considering the Critics' Choice Awards, like, never nominate the international films for screenplay unless they're in Best Picture. And it still performed pretty well at the Golden Globes, getting nominated for Best Picture Comedy Musical and Best Actor in a Comedy or Musical. But I feel like things have just not gone in favor of no other choice, so I can't predict that. Nuremberg is a film I'm definitely looking out for. I actually did see that a couple days ago. It is very timely. It is a classic, Oscar bait film with like the period piece and the courtroom stuff. So, like, it does have very smart dialogue. And the fact that it got longlisted at BAFTA really makes me wonder. But it did not get nominated for a single Critics' Choice Award, and I can't really think of a time where a film got nominated for Best Picture at the Oscars and didn't get a single Critics' Choice nomination. I mean, my God, like even I'm Still Here got nominated for International Film, and same thing with All Quiet on the Western Front. So this is just not something I can do, but however, it does appeal to the older base of the Academy, and it does seem to be a crowd pleaser. So I am looking out for this film. Nouvelle Vague is also one I'm very much keeping my eye on, especially since it is eligible for the Writers Guild Awards. And I'm actually predicting it for Original Screenplay at Writers Guild. Nouvelle Vague does have the Golden Globe Comedy Musical Picture nomination, and keep in mind, this and Blue Moon and No Other Choice got Best Picture Comedy Musical nominations over the likes of Jay Kelly, Wicked for Good, and The Testament of Anne Lee. 3 films that on paper should have been way stronger. These 3 films beat those films. So they have some strength, especially internationally. They have some strength. So I could see a world where this maybe gets like Best Picture, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Cinematography. But again, I'm not doing that, but that's just something I'm going to keep my eye on. Surat is a film that I'm probably also keeping my eye on. It did very well on the shortlists. Now again, it did not get a single above the line mention, so I can't really quite do that. But then there's the argument to be made that if the other international films were not in contention, then this could probably stumble into Original Screenplay somehow. Again, I'm not sure. But however, again, just keeping my eye out for that. You want to keep your eye out. And then we get to the more populist picks that I'm just not doing. One of them is weapon. 2 of them are weapons in F1. Yes, they got PGA. But however, guys, let's be real here. Lone PGA as a blockbuster does not work out. It does not work out in a Best Picture Oscar nomination. It just does not. Like, when will people learn? Again, not technically, I'm not wrong right now. We'll have to see. But, this is just screaming Black Panther Wakanda Forever. This is just screaming Wonder Woman. This is screaming Star Trek from 2009. Over and over and over again, these blockbusters getting nominated for PGA, it happens all the time, and they never get nominated. Hell, even amongst other films that got, lone PGA, let's say, what was that film called? Judas and the Black Messiah. You kind of have to take that with a grain of salt, because A, that was still, a period piece drama, and B, that was a COVID year, and that film had a very weird release schedule. So, again, you want to be careful. I would be careful. I do not think these films are going to get in. And people are going to try to tell me, but Christian, F1 is like Ford v Ferrari. No, it's not. Ford v Ferrari is very, very different. Ford v Ferrari was getting above the line nominations. Christian Bale was nominated for the Golden Globe for Best Actor Drama and the Screen Actors Guild Award for Best Lead Actor. And not only that, but Ford v Ferrari was not lone PGA. It still got Critics' Choice. And not only that, it had James Mangold behind the camera, who is a industry vet, an Oscars veteran at this point, where so many of his films end up being big Oscar contenders. And not only that, but the film was also, again, another period piece drama. It's not like F1, where it's this very sleek, modern kind of action film. It's or sports film, I should say. but it's like, I just can't. There's just not really a precedent for F1 to happen. It's just so screaming PGA blockbuster bias, because they love the blockbusters. Like, of course, like in hindsight, of course they weren't going to do a lot of international films. They just don't do that. And yeah, Zone of Interest and Anatomy of a Fall got in, but those were way stronger contenders at the end of the day. I just can't do it. I just cannot do it. Weapons has a little bit of a better argument because it does have Amy Madigan coming along with it. But again, I just don't see it happening. It's just not really an Oscars thing to do. I feel like they would do the more boring picks more than the big blockbusters. So yeah, I just do not buy F1 or Weapons, especially F1. F1, I just don't see a legitimate world where that gets into Best Picture. I just cannot see it. Then we get to the films that are just absolutely dead for Best Picture. Wicked for Good. This is the one where I am proud to say I called it. I called this film just not being a thing because, like, I kept hearing bad things about the stage show, and I was like, I don't know. Like, or at least bad things about the second act of the stage show, I should say. And I've been hearing those warnings throughout all year, and everyone was saying, oh, but Christian, they're going to fix all those mistakes. They did not fix those mistakes. Those mistakes are still very much present in this film. And immediately something was wrong when it came out, because the reviews weren't as good, even in places where it overperformed, where the first film overperformed, like at the Astra Awards, where it won Best Picture, it won Best Director, it won lead actress, it won supporting actress, and it was nominated for adapted screenplay. Then the next year, Wicked for Good did not even get nominated for director or adapted screenplay, and it did not win Best Picture. That is bad. And throughout this entire season, it's just been doing worse and worse and worse, so much so to where it didn't even get a SAG Ensemble nomination. It's done. Like Wicked for Good is Wicked for Dead. And Jay Kelly, Jesus, it's almost gotten worse for that film. Because, like, I think even on the BAFTA long list, the only shortlist mention it had was Adam Sandler in supporting actor. Like, say we will about Wicked for Good, but at least it has text to go off of. Jay Kelly has nothing right now. It has absolute zilch. So Jay Kelly is about as dead as it could be. So, and people were saying, oh, but the industry's going to love this movie. And it turned out the industry were the ones that would hate this, were the ones that hated this movie the most. So yeah, and then War of the Worlds, obviously that's getting in, because, it's just, everyone knows it's just a masterpiece. So yeah. Then we get to Best Director. The only 100% pure lock, and I guess you could, there's probably 2 or 3 locks you could say. One Battle After, like Paul Thomas Anderson for One Battle After Another, he's winning. Like, even if Sinners were to win Best Picture, I feel like Paul Thomas Anderson would still win Best Director. And I guess you could also say Joachim Trier for Sentimental Value, because, like, the film just completely swept the European Film Awards. So, sure. But then you have Ryan Coogler for Sinners. On paper, he does, like, I do worry about the whole blockbuster snubbing in director thing. But, however, he does have one thing that a lot of directors didn't. He has something that Greta Gerwig didn't have. He has something that Denis Villeneuve didn't have both times. He has something that John M. Chu didn't have. Like, so on and so forth. Ryan Coogler actually has won a lot of awards. Like, on Next Best Picture, all right, on Next Best Picture, as of right now, I'm recording this on Monday, January 19th, Paul Thomas Anderson has won 30 awards. Ryan Coogler has won 18. And at least looking through the history from Next Best Picture, in precursor wins, no one has won close to 18 director awards and missed the Oscar nomination. And keep in mind, this is just 18 Oscar, no, not, this isn't just like 18, critics groups throughout the, like how the season has just entirely gone. Like, no, it's just right now. Like, he's probably going to win more critic circles as time goes on. So right now, he has 18 awards. He's actually win competitive. To an extent. I still think Paul Thomas Anderson's winning, but still. I just can't justify Ryan Coogler missing if he's this strong. If he's this strong, I can't really say he's gonna get snubbed, even though I do worry. But yeah. And this is also another key award. If Ryan Coogler can get nominated for Best Director here, the film is in contention to win Best Picture. Because I don't think he needs to win Best Director in order for the film to win Best Picture, but I do think he needs to be nominated. But still, I'm just going by this. I'm just like predicting him because, again, on paper he does sound like the snub, but the film is being taken seriously. It actually is being taken seriously, and he is winning a lot of awards. You couldn't say that about Greta Gerwig. Greta Gerwig was not winning a lot of awards. So yeah. And then there's the last two slots, which are impossible to figure out. My God, man. The thing is, on one hand, Jafar Panahi just sounds like a director that would get nominated. Even though he hasn't gotten nominated anywhere except the Golden Globes. And even the BAFTAs did not longlist him. Hell, another thing that really is helping me predict sinners here is that the BAFTAs went for Ryan Coogler above Jafar Panahi and above Guillermo del Toro. That is huge. That is huge. You can't say that's not good for him. So, and the way the BAFTA long list is done, where there's 5 men and 5 women in the short list, and there are 6 nominees, he's guaranteed a nomination. So it's like, But still, what do I do here? Well, I think my main problem is I don't want to go 2 out of 5 with DGA, because I don't know when the last time that happened was. Maybe 2012 during the Ben Affleck Argo year, which is like so unlike anything we've ever seen before, where 2 frontrunners got snubbed. Ugh. So I think I want to try to at minimum go 3 out of 5. And so I will do Hamnet. Now, I'm doing Hamnet. I'm doing Chloe Zhao over Josh Safdie for a couple things. One, I do feel like Hamnet is just slightly stronger of a film in terms of, how it's been doing award season wise. But, however, not only that, but how do I describe? Okay. I feel like Josh Safdie might not have enough, Oscars experience. Like, they might say, we'll give it to you another time. Because right now, he's going up against a current Oscar winner in Chloe Zhao. Like, she currently has an Oscar. And so, it'd be pretty... I think it would have to take something for Josh Safdie to leapfrog her. And plus there's also the question of, are they going to snub the only woman really in contention for Best Director? Because they would get a lot of flack for that. Let's not beat around the bush. The Oscars would get a lot of flack for not nominating the only woman that's in contention. So, I don't know. I feel like Chloe Zhao might get in. And so, yeah. And then there's that 5th slot, which I could put into Josh Safdie, but again, I do really think The Secret Agent is coming on really, really strong. Those 2 Golden Globe wins, those 2 speeches, one of them where the director actually got to speak, and the fact that the director also got to help present Best Picture at the Critics' Choice Awards, that is major. That I think that's major. The film is also very relevant in what's going on today, so, I don't know. I do have a feeling The Secret Agent might actually get a director nomination. And also for any one confused, his last name is not Filo. It is not Filo. His last name is Mendonça. Apparently, I don't speak Portuguese, but I was told that his name like Kleber Mendonça Filo, that Filo, because initially I was referring to his last name as Filo, but apparently Filo is more or less the Portuguese equivalent of Junior. So yeah, so his last name is Mendonça. All right, just wanted to put it out there, and I really do feel like this is a film that's going to surprise on Oscar morning. I do feel like Kleber is coming to get this director nomination. Other possibilities, again, Josh Safdie does have a very good case. Marty Supreme is top 5 in Best Picture, but the competition is just really, really stacked, because not only do we have a lot of international films, but you also have a lot of industry vets going in. So I don't know. And again, Jafar Panahi, I would love it if he got in. He deserves to be nominated, but I think Accident might just kind of squeak into Best Picture at this point. So I don't know. And then Yorgo Lanthimos for Begonia. I think he's going to get the BAFTA nomination. And I do think Begonia is coming along very strongly. And I could see him getting nominated over Guillermo del Toro, because del Toro in Frankenstein, it just really does scream, the big kind of big budget director that gets snubbed out of Best Picture. And not Best Picture, but out of Best Director. And unlike Ryan Coogler, Guillermo del Toro is not winning anything. And I think you're honestly really crazy if you think Guillermo del Toro has a legitimate shot over Ryan Coogler, because there's no world where Guillermo del Toro leapfrogs Ryan Coogler. There is a chance, I feel like, both go down with the ship, but there's no way in hell that Ryan Coogler misses a director nomination in favor of Guillermo del Toro. Just no way. Number 10, I feel like, is Clint Bentley for Train Dreams. I'm only saying this because I have Train Dreams in Best Picture. Do I think he's going to get nominated? No. But again, look at where we are with the Best Picture race. Now that we have a locked down 10 nominees, I want to hedge my bets on Best Picture films in director. I want to do that. So yeah. And then the only other maybe I could see is Park Chan-wook for No Other Choice. But again, the film's just not very strong. Again, I would love it if he got in, but it might not happen. It's looking pretty unlikely, but still. Original screenplay. 3 of these are just full on locked in. Sinners, Marty Supreme, Sentimental Value. Yeah. Now that Accident didn't win the Globe, it's not going to win the BAFTA. So I think at this point, Sinners is just going to be your original screenplay winner through and through. I don't see really any world where this just goes all topsy-turvy. So yeah. But then those are the last 2 slots again. I think Accident is still going to get in. I think, Jafar Panahi might not get nominated for director, but they'll probably say, hey, we could give you original screenplay. You will still be an Oscar nominee. So yeah. And then I'm still doing The Secret Agent in original screenplay. Now, yes, it is rare for films to get, rare for both original screenplay and adapted screenplay to be, both Best Picture nominees. I don't know if it's happened before, but again, I want to hedge my bets on Best Picture films, and I want to prioritize those above non-Best Picture films, because I'm going to get something right. So yeah. And so Secret Agent, and plus it does have a very intensive screenplay. I know how to use a hammer. So, yeah. Blue Moon. Again, if that wanted to get in Best Picture, I could see that pulling a crazy one where it's what? It got original screenplay, but yeah. Sorry Baby would also be a decent bet. It did get Critics' Choice. It's not going to get Writers Guild. It's not eligible. But I think it's longlisted at BAFTA. Oh, it's not longlisted at BAFTA. That's not good. Okay, so maybe Sorry Baby's just not happening. I don't know. Nouvelle Vague again, I could see a world where this maybe happens for original screenplay if it got into Best Picture, but I don't think so. If I had Legs, I'd Kick You. Maybe this could get Writers Guild. I'm not sure if it will. I do think Nouvelle Vague has a better case for Writers Guild. But, Rose Byrne is, winning not winning Best Lead Actress, but she's definitely getting nominated for Lead Actress. So there's that. Weapons, I still don't buy it. I still don't buy it the Oscars are going to do it. I just do not think they're going to do it. So no. Jay Kelly is dead, and The Testament of Anne Lee, it couldn't be any more dead. I mean, my God. Then we get to adapted screenplay. Now that No Other Choice is just not going to get in, now that it's just not going to get in, and that, because it didn't even get longlisted at BAFTA, adapted screenplay could not be any more easy. It could not be any easier than this 5. One battle after another. Hamnet, Begonia, Train Dreams, Frankenstein. Could I see a world where Frankenstein, because here's the thing, I could see a world where if No Other Choice really was in contention, it could get into adapted screenplay over Frankenstein. I could see that, but right now I just can't predict that. Right now, this is just year 5, and this is also going to be the Writers Guild 5, because at WGA, all these films are covered. So yeah, this is going to be one of those rare years where Writers Guild and the Oscars perfectly match up to some extent. Then we got, but again, No Other Choices certainly in the conversation. Nuremberg, if that gets into Best Picture, that it would definitely come along with adapted screenplay. The Naked Gun, in another world, I could see that getting Writers Guild, but I'm just kind of listing off films right now. Wake Up Dead Man, that movie is already dead, and then Wicked for Good, no. But yeah. Lead Actress. I'm feeling pretty confident in this 5. Jessie Buckley is winning for Hamnet. I actually have Chase Infinity at number 2 for One Battle After Another, and you're probably thinking, what, number 2? But it's she kind of has everything. And I don't really think Rose Byrne would win an Oscar for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You. Granted, I mean, to be fair, just the latter 4, it doesn't really matter what the ranking is, really. But, I don't really think Chase Infinity's missing the Oscar, considering One Battle After Another is as strong as it is. If this film actually has the chance to get 15 nominations, which I'm predicting it for, and be as big of a Best Picture contender as it is, I just don't see a reason to really doubt Chase Infinity right now. I just don't. Emma Stone has fully cemented herself as a big contender, and not only that, but the film is already just kind of locked in Best Picture, so she's locked. I just don't really see a reason to doubt her. Renate Reinsve for Sentimental Value, yeah. She didn't get SAG, but also SAG just does not like international films, so I'm not really too concerned. And then Rose Byrne, did win the Golden Globe for Best Actress, Musical or Comedy. Why do I have her at number 5? Because her film is still not in Best Picture, and you still want to try to play that game. But again, I still think she's very much in. And I just do not buy Kate Hudson for Song Sung Blue. I do not buy her one bit. Yes, I know she has Golden Globe Comedy Musical category. Yes, I know she has SAG. But let's face it, she was clearly number 5 at SAG. If Sentimental Value was actually a thing at SAG, they would have nominated Reinsve over Kate Hudson. And people are going to try to say, well, what about Naiad and Annette Bening? It's not the same thing. Not the same thing. Naiad was arguably top 15 for Best Picture, which sounds crazy, but it got 2 acting noms. Song Sung Blue's only contending for 1, but Naiad was a double header, because he had Annette Bening and Jodie Foster. And Jodie Foster even got nominated at Critics' Choice. So that film's already stronger than Song Sung Blue on that merit. But also, at the Writers Guild Awards, Naiad got nominated for Adapted Screenplay. That was over films like The Color Purple. Like, what? That was crazy. So, whereas Song Sung Blue, I just don't really see a world where it does get screenplay. And also, the reviews were better for Naiad than Song Sung Blue. I just don't buy her. I just don't buy her as this year's Naiad because, again, yeah, Naiad was also not in Best Picture, but there was a lot of strength to where you could argue it was close. Song Sung Blue is just not really close, so I can't do it. It is so sad to see Amanda Seyfried not being nominated anywhere for The Testament of Anne Lee. I mean, she did get Golden Globe and Critics' Choice, but after that, the industry made it real clear that they hated The Testament of Anne Lee. They hate, not getting a single Oscar shortlist mention, not even for original song, in a list of 15 songs where, I will tell you this firsthand, I've listened to all those songs. Most of them are mid compared to Clothed by the Sun. Most of them are mid. And even in a score shortlist of 20 films, like Captain America Brave New World got in over The Testament of Anne Lee. So it's like, what? And some people might try to say, well, wasn't it deemed ineligible? No, it was confirmed that it was eligible. It just did not get shortlisted. So, yeah. And even in the BAFTA long lists, The Testament of Anne Lee did so poorly that Amanda Seyfried did not get into the shortlist for lead actress, and even a list of 5 women in director for the director long list, Mona Fastvold did not get in for director. No, they went for Catherine Bigelow for A House of Dynamite over her. Yikes. So the industry has made it very loud and clear they do not like Anne Lee, which is a shame because I feel like Amanda Seyfried is better than most of these performances. I've not seen Jessie Buckley in Hamnet, so I've not seen Hamnet yet. The funny thing is, out of all the Best Picture contenders you saw on my list, the only film I have yet to see yet is Hamnet. That's the only film, which I'm shocked I've been able to watch this many films beforehand, but hey, that's great. Eva Victor for Sorry Baby, I don't think they will. I mean, they are very, very good in the film, but however, Sorry Baby is just not really existing anywhere outside of maybe original screenplay and first time director awards. So yeah, Cynthia Erivo for Wicked for Good. The fact that the Critics' Choice Awards nominated that film for Best Picture and yet still snubbed Erivo, I think just really shows how much of a contender she really is not. She's just not, no. And then you have Jennifer Lawrence for Die My Love. I don't think she's happening, but, yeah, she did get the Globe nomination. It got a few BAFTA long list mentions as well, but I don't think Die My Love is really a thing. I don't think it's going to happen. Then we get to lead actor. This is interesting. And I think I've seen most of these. Actually, yeah, out of my top 5, I have seen all these films now. Yay! Marty Supreme, Timothée Chalamet, and Leonardo DiCaprio for One Battle After Another. People get me confused. They're saying, oh, what? Why are you picking Leo over Timothy? It's like, no, I am predicting Timothée Chalamet to win the Oscar above Leonardo DiCaprio. But what I am saying is that you are crazy if you think there is no world where Leo can win. You're actually insane if you think that there's no world whatsoever that Leo could take it. I'm not doing it right now. No, I am predicting Timothée Chalamet. But going back to my video with Adriano Caparuso, all it takes is either SAG or BAFTA to switch over to Leo and to give Leo Best Actor, and I'm switching over to him. All it takes is one. That's the catalyst. It just takes one to do one wild switch up. And yes, Timothée Chalamet did win the Critics' Choice Award and the Golden Globe. Great. But also keep in mind, so did what's her name? Cate Blanchett. So did Cate Blanchett. And also so did Demi Moore. Demi Moore also won both the Golden Globe and the Critics' Choice Award. Like, it's not over. Again, I'm still predicting Timothée Chalamet will win right now. Sure, yeah. But it is not over this year until after SAG. Because, SAG comes after BAFTA this year. It is not over until SAG. If Timmy wins all four of these precursors, Golden Globe, Critics' Choice, BAFTA, SAG, or I guess I should say Critics' Choice, Golden Globe, BAFTA, SAG. If he wins all four of those, okay, yep, done. It's finished. He's winning. But if one of those latter two switches to Timothy, like BAFTA or SAG, if one of them goes for Leo, I will predict Leo to win the Oscar, because the Oscars are more than willing to give an actor another Oscar. People are saying, people will try to say, no, maybe they'll want to give someone new the awards. Like, they didn't feel that way about Emma Stone. They didn't feel that way about Anthony Hopkins winning his second Oscar, or Frances McDormand winning her third Oscar. It's like, no. Or Renee Zellweger winning her second Oscar. Just no, man, no. They will give actors multiple Oscars. They will do it. And it's usually for the stronger films. Again, right now I'll go for Timmy, but it is not over. It is not over until SAG says it's over. And then we get to Michael B. Jordan for Sinners. Again, he is really strong. He's much stronger than I thought he would be, because he is literally number 2 in director awards. Not director awards. He's literally number 2 in lead actor awards. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan has won 16 awards. He's number 2 with 16 awards, and Timothée Chalamet is at number 1 with 18 awards. The next one down is Ethan Hawke with 8. Michael B. Jordan is very much in the category. He's very much in. So I can't really predict a snub. Then you get the last 2 slots. All right. I think Wagner Moore is winning. No, not winning. I think he's getting nominated for The Secret Agent. He won the Golden Globe for drama, and really that's going to be his only precursor, but Fernando Torres showed that as long as you can win the Golden Globe, or the main, drama Globe category, you're looking pretty likely for the Oscar. So yeah, and plus if I think The Secret Agent's going to get nominated for Best Picture, clearly Wagner Moura would come along with it. So yeah. But then there's that 5th slot. This could go a number of directions. It could go a number of directions. Right now, I'll go with Ethan Hawke for Blue Moon. He has won a lot of critics awards, but also he is kind of an industry vet. At this point, he's gotten a lot of Oscar nominations. He's playing a biopic character. But at the same time, you do have Joel Edgerton for Train Dreams, and that film is in Best Picture. You also have Jesse Plemons for Begonia, who's kind of on the rise right now. He didn't get nominated at Critics' Choice, but he did get the Golden Globe Comedy Musical Actor nomination, as well as getting in for SAG, which was a big surprise. But at the same time, maybe Train Dreams was just not really SAG's thing. I don't know. But, however, I don't know. Right now, I'll go for Ethan Hawke. And plus, Blue Moon could be argued that it's, in the top 15 for Best Picture, so I'm not too off base right there. But, yeah. Oscar Isaac for Frankenstein, I mean, I'm not predicting him, because I think if he really wanted to show to be, a decently sized contender, he would have gotten into SAG. But again, Frankenstein's still in Best Picture, so you never know. Russell Crowe for Nuremberg. He hasn't really happened anywhere, although he is shortlisted at BAFTA, so keep an eye out for him there. Dwayne Johnson in The Smashing Machine. He's done worse than I thought he would. I thought he would get nominated for Critics' Choice. He didn't. He did get in at the Golden Globes for Best for Best Lead Actor in a Drama, but he didn't get in at SAG, so ugh. And also not even BAFTA longlisted. Hell, he's doing so bad right now that The Smashing Machine's doing so bad right now that even Emily Blunt didn't get longlisted at BAFTA. Ugh. Then there's Lee Byung-hun for No Other Choice at number 11. Again, I could see a world, but then actually, well, I think I could more likely see that world if the film was just way stronger, and sadly, I don't think it is. Jeremy Allen White for Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. No, I don't think he's happening. George Clooney for Jay Kelly. Absolutely not. But we all know who the real winner is. It's Ice Cube for War of the Worlds. So, yeah. Supporting actress. I think right now is a good time to predict Tiana Taylor to win for one battle after another. I don't think you could say Amy Madigan's winning because, like, the Golden Globes had an opportunity to give that to Amy Madigan. And keep in mind, Amy Madigan would be my pick to win Best Supporting Actress. But however, you know, she did win Critics' Choice, which did make me predict her. But however, for a nomination at least. But the fact that she already lost the Golden Globe to Tiana Taylor, I feel like Tiana Taylor's just going to take it. She's just going to take it. She's going to take SAG, probably BAFTA. We'll have to see. Weirdly enough, I think the other potential upset here could be Wunmi Masaku, because she is actually winning quite a few awards as well. Because even after that Golden Globes after that Golden Globes win, all right? Because let's take a look at the supporting actress race according to Next Best Picture. All right, Amy Madigan is clearly in the lead with 28 critics wins. No, not critics wins, I should say. More like just 28 wins in general. Tiana Taylor has 10. Wunmi Masaku has 9. She is right on Tiana Taylor's tail right now. She is right on her tail. And not only that, if Sinners were to have a really big moment, she could win SAG. She's like, there is also another argument for her to win the BAFTA because she's British and she's been nominated at BAFTA before. So again, I'm going to predict Tiana Taylor, but Wunmi Masaku is right behind her, I feel. Again, considering Sinners is just that big of a contender, I could see her getting in. Like, oh no, I mean, no, she's already in. Even if she weren't to somehow get BAFTA, like Critics' Choice and SAG is still a really good thing to have, especially if you're in a top 2 Best Picture contender. But even then, she's gonna get the BAFTA because, again, British and previous BAFTA nominee. So yeah. But I could see a world where they give her supporting actress if they really just want to give Sinners so much love. But yeah. Inga Ibsdottir Lilias, I feel like she's the more likely sentimental value actress, even though personally I feel like Elle Fanning is a little bit better in my opinion. She's still very good, but Inga Ibsdottir Lilias is still very good in the film, still very good. She missed SAG, but that's not really consequential to me. But I do feel like the fact that even Elle Fanning couldn't get in at SAG, and the fact that Elle Fanning was snubbed out of the BAFTA long lists, yikes. But yeah, Odessa Azion. I don't know if it's Azion or Azion. I'm not sure, but basically, I think she's going to get in for Marty Supreme. Like, right now, yeah, she does have a lone Critics' Choice nomination. No, not Critics' Choice, SAG nomination. But Marty Supreme is also top 5 for Best Picture. So, like, the movie's pretty much like a complete unknown right now. And I feel like she's going to get nominated. I do. And having seen Marty Supreme, she definitely does do the most in the film. And she is a big, big standout. So, I'm going to say Odessa Azion is in for Marty Supreme. You could also make an argument for Gwyneth Paltrow, but I've just not really seen a lot of, like, passion for her, really. Like, not even SAG went for her. She is long-listed at BAFTA, but, do I really think she's going to get the Oscar nomination? Probably not. Emily Watson for Hamnet. I would watch out for her at BAFTA. She did get long-listed at BAFTA, and so, look. Be on the lookout. So yeah. And the big miss I'm predicting is Ariana Grande for Wicked for Good. Yes, as of right now, she has all the major precursors. Critics' Choice, Golden Globe, and SAG nominations. So you're probably wondering, why would you doubt her at this point? Well, the film is currently nosediving and continues to get worse and worse and worse as award season goes on. PGA didn't even nominate Wicked for Good, and even SAG Ensemble, like, no, not just SAG Ensemble, but it's like SAG in general just kind of rejected Wicked outright for the most part, because the first Wicked at the time tied for the most nominations ever at SAG with 5. Whereas Wicked for Good didn't even get Ensemble. It only got Grande. That's the kind of performance, and I mean like awards performance, not her performance. This is the exact kind of awards performance where the more, like, the worse you do, it's like at the Oscars, it's just kind of like kaput. So I think Ariana Grande misses the Oscar nomination for Wicked for Good. I don't think she's going to get in. Haley Steinfeld for Sinners. This would have to be something where, like, again, I'm not going to predict her because she didn't get nominated at SAG. I mean, and she didn't get longlisted at BAFTA. So I'm not going to predict and say that she's going to get nominated. But I will say, if she were to happen, that would be absolutely insane for Sinners. But I don't think she will. Regina Hall, I said it from day one, having seen the film. I was like, nope, she's not happening. She does not do anything in the film that's like worthy of a nomination. And here she is, just like not getting in anywhere, not getting in at SAG, not longlisted at BAFTA. No one has done her, so no. And then Emily Blunt for The Smashing Machine. I thought maybe there was a world where she could get like a couple nominations here or there and yet still miss the Oscar nomination, but no, the Golden Globes were the only places to nominate her. Even the BAFTAs didn't longlist her, so yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling for supporting actress right now. And then we get to supporting actor. This 5, I'm just very convinced is happening, because now you're probably wondering why, why do you have the One Battle After Another boys at number 1? Because right now, I still feel like they're more likely to win the Oscar. Like, yes, Stellan Skarsgård won the Golden Globe, and Jacob Elordi won the Critics' Choice Award. However, I really don't feel like Jacob Elordi, as deserving as he would be as a winner, I don't think he would win the Oscar for this. I just don't. And then Stellan Skarsgård for Sentimental Value. I think he does put up a good fight to win. And you could also make the argument, like, well, maybe he could be the film's only win. Sure. But looking at the precursors right now, Benicio del Toro is still at first place with 19 wins. And I'm not just going off of the critics win, not the precursor wins, to be fair. I'm not really just going off of those with my predictions, but I do look at those and go, because again, One Battle After Another is winning Best Picture. And I feel like if you're winning Best Picture, you're going to give Benicio del Toro or Sean Penn Best Supporting Actor. Let me know in the comments what you would think of what would happen in this scenario. If, because we have Jacob Elordi winning Critics' Choice, Stellan Skarsgård winning the Golden Globe, but then what if this happened? Sean Penn wins BAFTA, and then after that, Benicio del Toro wins at SAG. Who do you pick then? Because at that point, you got to go either Sean Penn or Benicio del Toro, and it would be so hard. And don't say that they won't give Sean Penn another Oscar. We just went through this again. If they wanted to, they would give Sean Penn another Oscar. They would. But yeah, let me know in the comments below what you would think of that scenario. So yeah. And then I thought maybe Paul Mescal or Jacob Elordi could be vulnerable for like a Sinners actor, but the problem is Jacob Elordi won Critics' Choice. I can't really predict a snub based off of that. And Paul Mescal, I mean, he got in at SAG. Again, SAG doubled down on how much they love Hamnet by giving it a SAG Ensemble nomination, when most people didn't think that was going to happen. So I think it is important to point out that Paul Mescal is just that strong. He kind of is just that strong of a contender. So yeah. But again, on the outside looking in, you got Miles Caton and Delroy Lindo. Delroy Lindo has a good amount of precursor wins. All right, like in the critics groups, he like how many does Delroy Lindo actually have? He actually has 5. Okay, so that's pretty decent. But again, I just again I don't know. Miles Caton did get SAG. That was great for him. But however, the problem is that he got the nomination at SAG over Stellan Skarsgård. And I really don't think he's going to get in at the Oscars over Stellan Skarsgård. Like, if he got in over Paul Mescal or even Jacob Elordi, I'd be like, whoa, okay. But he just so happened to get in over the wrong guy, so I can't really predict Miles Caton to get in, even though he should be nominated. Like, Miles Caton does deserve a nomination for Sinners, but yeah. Andrew Scott for Blue Moon, I could see BAFTA doing him, but I feel like right now it's a little bit too late to get him nominated, but then again, I don't know. Adam Sandler for Jay Kelly. He is probably the only thing in this film that has like any awards buzz right now. He did get in at Critics' Choice and Golden Globe, but however, Jay Kelly has been so rejected by the industry, like massively. I don't think Adam Sandler can recover from this, even though he would actually be my pick to win. William H. Macy for Train Dreams. Again, I don't think he's going to happen, but yeah, no. And Jacoby Jupe for Hamnet. No, they don't nominate child performances. This top 5 for supporting actor just feels way too clean for me. And that's kind of the same vibe I get from all these like acting categories. I can't imagine I'm going to go 20 for 20 here. But like, I just don't really see a reason for me to make a big, like, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? A big risk in some of these categories. I just can't do it. Then we get to casting. All right, we have the shortlist. It is a shortlist of 10 films. And yeah, fixed it. Okay, yeah. Right now, I'll say One Battle After Another is winning. I mean, granted, Sinners did win the Critics' Choice Award, but I don't know. I still want to hedge my bets some more on what's stronger. I think right now, One Battle After Another might win SAG Ensemble, and this is not an ensemble award. But however, general Academy voters might just view it as like the de facto ensemble award. So yeah, I'm gonna go with One Battle After Another. But Sinners is right there. I hope it wins, but yeah. Hamnet, you know, it doesn't have a huge cast, but however, a lot of the cast that they do have is very important. Plus, there's the casting of Jacoby Jupe. I mean, you know, the casting directors do really like it when you cast kids, so that's something to keep in mind. Frankenstein, you're taking all these classic literary characters and translating them in a new version like this. I feel like that's going to attract the casting directors, and a lot of what I'm basing this off of are the Artios Awards and seeing their history with what they nominate, and this kind of falls in line with what they like to do. And then there's Secret Agent, because you have Wagner Moura, but then you have a lot of other actors who are not really... they're either not big actors or not really professional actors at all, but they still do a really good job. I could see the Secret Agent pulling this off. And there is also Surratt. You could also make this argument for Surratt as well. So that is something I do want to keep in mind. Weapons, you know, you still do have the kid ensemble. I do want to keep that in mind. I just don't know if Weapons is going to be that strong. But yeah, sentimental value, Marty Supreme, Wicked for Good. I'm not sure, especially not Wicked for Good, because Wicked for Good, they literally only cast like one character, and that was the lion. So no. Then we get to international feature, and I'm sorry, even with how this season has gone, I cannot deviate from the consensus 5. Like, I think it's just going to be Secret Agent. I think Secret Agent wins. Sentimental value, It Was Just an Accident, No Other Choice, and Surratt. I don't have a good argument for anything else. Left-Handed Girl, I don't know. Voice of Hinder Job, Billeen, The problem with trying to predict anything else is that none of the other films are remotely as strong as these 5. Because Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, and Accident I have in Best Picture, and even if you don't have, Secret Agent and Accident in Best Picture, they're close. You have to say they're at least in contention. And even No Other Choice to an extent is in contention because, again, Golden Globes loved it a lot. It got nominated for Adapted Screenplay at the Critics' Choice Awards. It is undeniably a pretty strong film in some regards. And then Surratt made like 5 Oscar shortlists. I don't think there's any real legitimate, and people are and the best argument I've heard people come up with is, I don't know if Neon can get all 5 films in. If that's your only argument, then I feel like it's just like Neon's just going to get all 5 in because there's the other films are just not as strong as this 5. They're just not. But yeah, Sound of Falling, Homebound, The President's Cake, Kokuo, Palestine 36, All That's Left of You, Late Shift. Yeah, I just can't predict anything else. It's just that, this 5 is just way too easy for me. Way too easy. Then we get to documentary feature, which, oh my god, I don't know what to do because I'm not great at this. The Perfect Neighbor, I guess I'll predict, but also it's the frontrunner in documentary, and you do not want to be a frontrunner in Best Documentary Feature. You do not want to be the frontrunner. That is, not good if you're the frontrunner. But still, yeah, we'll have to see. I did see The Perfect Neighbor. It is fantastic. It's a great documentary, but again, the being a frontrunner is not usually a great sign. You do have my Undesirable Friends Part 1, Last Air in Moscow. I feel like that's going to be pretty strong, even though it's 5 hours long. Let's see. Come See Me in the Good Light. Sure. Apocalypse in the Tropics. And The Alabama Solution. I'm just trying to go with what's mainly the consensus and trying to throw something in there that I think maybe sound more that could also sound appealing. And I think 2,000 Meters to Andrivka might be the surprise omission because, they did just do 20 Days in Mariupol, and maybe they might think that it's too much of a repeat. Again, I'm not sure, but yeah. Mr. Nobody Against Putin. It sounds like more of a crowd pleaser, so I'm not sure if they'll do that. Seeds. Cover Up is also another snub I'm predicting, maybe, because it is mostly documents and stuff, and I'm not sure if it's gonna. I mean, it might get in, but again, I'm not very well versed in the documentary feature category. I'm just gonna be real. Cutting Through Rocks, Mistress Dispeller, Coexistence My Ass, Folk Tales, Yanuni Holding Liat. I don't know, but yeah, again, we'll see if Perfect Neighbor gets snubbed or not, but yeah. Animated feature. This has become relatively easy for me because I'm predicting. Well, for one, in terms of winning, K-pop Demon Hunters is gonna win. It's gonna win. There's not really a reason to doubt it at this point. It's doing very, very well. The fact that it won the Golden Globe. You couldn't even say that about Spider-Verse and The Wild Robot. K-pop Demon Hunters just won the Golden Globe for Best Animated Feature. It's locked in. It's going to win the Oscar at this point. So yeah. Arco, Little Amelie, those are the maybe 2 biggest contenders. I'm not really going to consider Zootopia 2 a potential threat to win the Oscar over K-pop Demon Hunters because people are saying, well, maybe Zootopia 2 could win the BAFTA since K-pop isn't eligible. Why would the BAFTAs go for Zootopia 2, a film that people like less than the first film, and the first film didn't even win the BAFTA? No. And then there's that 5th slot, which I'm just going to say is Elio. I think that's just very easy to put in. I think Elio's going to get in because nothing, this has been such a bad year for animation. Nothing else seems like a good alternative. A Magnificent Life? I mean, the reviews weren't that strong, so I don't know. Same thing with In Your Dreams. I think In Your Dreams even missed the Annie nomination, and it's not even Disney, so Bad Guys 2? The first Bad Guys didn't even get nominated, so I can't really do that. Demon Slayer, Infinity Castle. I know a lot of Demon Slayer fans are saying, well, it's locked in. No, it's not locked in. The Oscars don't nominate anime action films. I'm not trashing this movie. I'm not saying it's bad. But what I'm saying is that, there are so many things going against this movie. One, it's an anime action film. The Oscars don't go for that. Two, this is based on a TV show that I guarantee you very, very, very few people in the Academy have watched. And people are saying, well, it made a lot of money. Yeah, that helped it with PGA, sure. But, like, that doesn't help you at all at the Oscars. Like, look at Frozen 2. At the time, it was Walt Disney Animation Studios' highest grossing film of all time. And it missed the Oscar nomination for Best Animated Feature. Like, Illumination's movies constantly rake so much money in the box office. And yet the only one to get nominated was Despicable Me 2. And that was in maybe the worst year for animation ever. So, no. And also, it was in Super Mario Brothers, but that was also Illumination. It's like, the Oscars genuinely do not care about how much money you made as an animated film. Like, they'll just snub you. So, yeah, look, Demon Slayer, it just has too many things going against it. It's based off of a TV show that none of the Academy has watched, and it's an anime action film that has staunchly not gotten nominated at the Academy. Same thing goes with Scarlet. Scarlet is also another anime action film, and the Oscars just don't nominate those, so I'm not doing it. Dog of God, like, the Twits, no, I'm not doing, no, no. I think it's just going to be this 5. This 5 is going to be easy. Then we get to the craft categories. And this is one that is also shortlisted. Cinematography. I think Sinners is winning this. Train Dreams did win the Critics' Choice Award, which is interesting. But I think Sinners is probably taking the Oscar. And I still think there is a world where if they really wanted to go for one battle after another, they could just give it cinematography. And I mean, like, if one battle after another were to have its best day, maybe. Frankenstein's looking to be the big contender of the year, so I think that's going to get nominated for cinematography, even though I could see a world where this gets snubbed out because, you know, like, it is very digital. But then again, that doesn't really matter because, like, you know, there's a lot of movies with visual effects in them they get nominated for cinematography. So what am I kidding? No, no, that's not a good argument at all. Because, you know, Gravity won cinematography, but despite there being a ton of visual effects. 1917 won cinematography. 1917. What Dunkirk and All Quiet on the Western Front. Inception. It's like, no. Like, what am I saying? No, the visual effects thing doesn't really matter. Who cares? Marty Supreme, I have at number 5, but yeah, like, because the funny thing is, Begonia is also a big contender. Oh, and there's also Hamnet. Hamnet was the big snub out of ASC. This is I am doing the ASC 5, because that is a guild where, I'm not, obviously I don't know if it's an actual guild itself, but you know what I mean by the guilds. This is one where you could go like 5 out of 5 and you could be right, because sometimes ASC will do 5 out of 5. So right now I'm going to go with that. But again, Hamnet, that was the big snub. Hamnet didn't even get in the British Society of Cinematographers. That was a big shock. So I'm just like, But again, I could see a world where Begonia shows some big strength here. I genuinely could. Begonia is like, remember how I was saying that Wicked and like Jay Kelly were on their way down? Begonia is kind of on its way up. It's only doing better with precursors. So if they really wanted to go all in on Begonia, they could. And I am predicting Begonia to go a little bit further beyond in some of these categories. Some other options, Nouvelle Vogue. Again, if that wanted to get into Best Picture, I think maybe that could be a good argument for it. F1, no, didn't get British Society of Cinematographers, didn't get American Society of Cinematographers, didn't even get BAFTA longlisted for cinematography. No, it's not happening. Even though I actually would not mind a cinematography nomination for F1. Die My Love did get in at the British Society of Cinematographers, but I'm not willing to predict that right now. Ballad of a Small Player, I feel like I would have needed to see it get nominated at like ASC, BSC, or BAFTA. Now, granted, did it actually get into the BAFTAs? Let me just check. Okay, it did get BAFTA longlisted, so it does have that. Oh, actually, wait, no, BAFTA did longlist F1. I am incorrect. They did longlist F1, but the fact that ASC didn't even nominate F1, And they did nominate Top Gun Maverick. Ugh. So yeah. Surat, that's an interesting one. I don't think it's going to get in, though. Sound of Falling, Wicked for Good, Sentimental Value, Song Sung Blue, probably not. So, yeah. Then we get to film editing. And this is one where I'm going to catch a lot of flack. Because, okay, let me just start off with what I think is winning. I think One Battle After Another is winning. I mean, again, when in doubt, go with the Best Picture frontrunner. I mean, look at what they did with Lenora last year. So, Sinners, obviously, that's going to be a big contender in editing. Marty Supreme has some very sharp editing, and it might even win the Eddie Award for comedy editing, for comedy film editing, because they do like their their sports movies in Best Picture. Like, I remember when King Richard won best editing in a drama at the Eddies over like Dune and The Power of the Dog. Like, they really like the sports movies. And I think even I, Tonya won the comedy musical editing that year over a few big contenders. So, But then, this is where we go off the rails a bit. I'm going to go, I think Begonia gets nominated for editing. It does have some very sharp editing. It is kind of like not only a comedy, but it's also a bit of a thriller as well. So I think that could get in for film editing at the Oscars. And then you have Hamnet. And I think Hamnet is just going to be one of those films where it's like, it's such a big contender. It's just going to get into a few categories, sort of like the Holdovers and such. But yeah. Sentimental Value could maybe happen, but again, I'm just not sure if I can fully predict that right now. I'm not sure if I can fully predict that. It didn't get longlisted at BAFTA, which is kind of weird for a film like this. But again, obviously, BAFTA isn't everything, because the BAFTAs didn't even longlist, Wicked or The Brutalist last year for editing. They didn't longlist those films, and yet they got the Oscar nominations. So, again, take that with a grain of salt. Secret Agent, it is a very long movie, and it is a little bit of a thriller, but it's not like a quick cut thriller, but again, you never know. Frankenstein has just not really been cracking editing lists, so I'm going to say no. Train Dreams, I mainly have this in because it's in Best Picture. Yes, the top 10 for film editing are films in Best Picture, because I want to prioritize Best Picture nominees, and we'll get to why here in a second. And it was just an accident. I don't think it's going to get nominated for editing, but again, Best Picture, I want to play it safe. Now, yes, I have F1 out. I have it all the way down at 11. I'm sorry. I'm not predicting F1 for editing. I'm not doing it. No, because I do not have it in for Best Picture, I'm not predicting it for editing. No. Like, I've learned my lesson, all right? I keep thinking, oh, maybe this will happen. It's like, no, it just doesn't happen. No, like, I remember when I tried predicting, like, challengers for editing last year, and it backfired on me. Because I was like, it wasn't even Best Picture nominated. Damn it. And only now people are like, well, you should have known that. It's like, you were predicting it too. You were predicting challengers as well for editing. Like, because that film won the Critics' Choice Award. It was sweeping the critics groups. And even right now, F1 isn't sweeping the critics groups. Like, right now, actually, who is taking the most, like editing awards overall? Yeah. Like, One Battle After Another is easily taking it with 18 wins. F1 is literally tied with 5 wins with Marty Supreme and Sinners. So, like, F1 isn't even the critics' frontrunner right now. Like, it's One Battle After Another. Like, so, yeah, I'm just not doing F1. I'm just not predicting it. Like, the lack of a Best Picture nomination makes me go, no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. And people are going to go, but Ford v. Ferrari. Ford v. Ferrari was nominated for Best Picture. And then people are going to go, well, what about Baby Driver? Maybe you could say that, but also Baby Driver had some argument for, like, above-the-line potential, or at least in some precursors, because, like, Ansel Elgort got a Golden Globe Comedy Actor nomination above Kumail Nanjiani for The Big Sick. I'm not saying that's a great, reason, but it's a reason. But again, it's just like F1 has just not shown up anywhere other than text except PGA. And I'm not gonna do that based off of PGA. And people are gonna go, well, there have been Best Picture nominees that got, only text before. Yes, but there was always signs for above the line love. Significant signs. Like Nightmare Alley, got director at the Critics' Choice Awards. Director. Avatar: The Way of Water got director at the Golden Globes and Critics' Choice. Even Dune Part 2. It got adapted screenplay at the Critics' Choice Awards and Writers Guild Awards, and the Critics' Choice Awards at least did nominate Denis Villeneuve for director, and also the BAFTAs nominated him for director. I forgot about that as well. But hell, even Top Gun Maverick not only got in at Writers Guild, but Joseph Kosinski got into DGA, the Directors Guild. So it's like, yes, I don't even need to bring Top Gun Maverick into this, because Top Gun Maverick literally got nominated for adapted screenplay at the Oscars. Hell, and again, even Ford v Ferrari had some above the line love somewhere. It wasn't just a PGA thing for Best Picture. It got nominated at Critics' Choice, and Christian Bale got in for lead actor in a drama at the Golden Globes and lead actor at SAG. F1 has just done nothing so far. Nothing. So I'm not predicting it for editing. I'm going to hedge my bets on Best Picture films. That is the lesson going forward. But yeah. No Other Choice should be winning editing, but it's not going to happen. Nuremberg has pretty good editing, but I don't think it's going to happen. The Perfect Neighbor also has some really, really good editing, but I feel like that's just the Critics' Choice Awards being cool, and they're not going to do it. House of Dynamite, I would not mind that getting an editing nomination, but the film is just not really existing anywhere, so no. Production design. All right. Not Sinners. Frankenstein is winning this in a handbasket. It's going to win. Ever since this just kind of got locked into Best Picture, it's like, yeah, Frankenstein's winning production design, costume design, and makeup, and it's just going to be easy that way. It's just going to be easy. So, Frankenstein's winning. Sinners, I think, is going to get nominated. Hamnet's going to get nominated. And then there are the last two slots, which could go to some interesting places. Right now, I'll go Marty Supreme for production design. But then that last slot, I know a lot of people have in Wicked for Good. I think it actually might miss this category, because they don't really have a lot of new sets. They have a couple, but it's mostly the same sets we saw before. So what am I thinking gets nominated ahead of it? Well, I'm actually thinking of Begonia, because again, the film is on a rise and it's doing really well right now, but however, they also built that entire house. From what I understand, the exterior was all built, the interior was all built, and there's a lot of crazy conspiracy theorist modern stuff going on there. And plus there's the work environment sets and stuff. So yeah, I think Begonia might be on its way. And also I'm not going to say what happens, but there's a set piece at the end of the film where I'm like, oh, okay, this is also kind of showing off. So yeah, I think Begonia might actually get a production design nomination. It's a very sleek looking film at points. It's a very sloppy looking film at points, but sloppy in a good way. So yeah. But then number 6, I have One Battle After Another. I'm scared, because again, if this is one of those situations where if they really wanted to go all in for One Battle After Another, they could, and I'm scared. I'm probably going to pee myself, because oh no. Sentimental Value, I thought maybe stood a chance in production design, but it didn't even get longlisted at BAFTA. And looking back, as far as the BAFTA longlists have been concerned, there has never been a film that got nominated at the Oscars for production design that wasn't also longlisted at BAFTA. Ever since the BAFTAs had the long lists. So, I would love it. Now, Fantastic Four First Steps, that actually has done pretty well so far. It got the Critics' Choice nomination. It got the Fantasy Production Design nomination at the Art Directors Guild. And it is long listed at BAFTA. But do I think Fantastic Four is going to get nominated? I don't know. I want it to. I really, really want it to. But I just don't know if I have the strength to do it quite yet. But if it does show up, I'm going to be happy. Because I feel like that deserves to win, actually. That would actually get my vote to win. And again, I already explained Wicked for Good. The Secret Agent is one that could sneak in, but I don't know if it's going to be sneaky enough to get into production design. I'm not sure. Train Dreams hasn't really shown up anywhere. No Other Choice, probably not. Avatar Fire and Ash, nope. Mickey 17, that would also be a really cool nomination, but I don't think it's happening. Kiss of the Spider-Woman, Testament to Van Lee, no. Then we get to costume design, alright? Again, Frankenstein's winning this, easy. Sinners, easily going to get nominated. Hamnet, probably going to get nominated. And, then there's the last two slots. There are enough new costumes in Wicked for Good for it to get nominated, so probably. And then you have One Battle After Another. I'm predicting One Battle After Another because, yes, the costumes are very contemporary, but they've become very recognizable. Like especially with, Leo's, robe outfit and stuff, it's that's memorable. And also Colleen Atwood was the costume designer for the film. They might really for one, they really like the film and they really like her, so they might nominate her and the film. So, yeah. Secret Agent could also sneak into costume design, but again, I'm just not, it's kind of hard to tell how strong that film is really right now, so I don't know. And so I am predicting a snub for Marty Supreme in costumes. I am predicting a snub, but again, it's not easy. Who knows what's going to happen? Hedda, I don't think Hedda got long listed at BAFTA, which is a little weird to me. Let me just make sure. Yep, did not get long listed at BAFTA. That's weird. But yeah. Kiss of the Spider-Woman, that movie's kind of dead in costume design. It got nominated at Critics' Choice, but that was literally it. Didn't get Costume Designers Guild. Didn't get BAFTA long listed. It's over. And yeah, the Testament to Van Lee has just not shown up anywhere for costumes. Just absolute nothingness for that film. So yeah. Makeup and hairstyling. Yeah, the first four are very easy. Frankenstein is winning. Wicked for Good is going to get nominated. Smashing Machine, yes. Did it get the prosthetic nomination at the Makeup Guild? No. But there's still a lot of work going on, and it still got a nomination at the Makeup Guild. So I'm not really too concerned. And plus you could also make an argument that there's not as much heavy prosthetics on him as much as Bradley Cooper in Maestro, or, Brendan Fraser in The Whale. It's mainly just a bunch of, tiny pieces and stuff. So it's I don't know, yeah. And then there's Sinners. Sinners did extremely well at the Makeup Guild. So, you kind of have everything. You have the period hair going on, but that's not really enough. But you also have the monster makeup, which, sure, yeah, that might get in. And then I'm actually going to do One Battle After Another. It's for one scene, and it is for that one guy. But, however, I feel like this is just kind of that it might be enough. I feel like that might actually be enough for it to get a nomination for makeup. Because a lot of the other contenders are not really selling me. Marty Supreme, I mean, they did give Timothée Chalamet a lot of acne, but is it enough? The Alto Knights, that's something I was kind of predicting for the shortlist, but I don't think it's going to happen for the Oscar. The Ugly Stepsister, again, I've not really seen that film, so I can't really say. But again, I've not heard anything too crazy about the makeup in that. Kokuho, having seen the trailer, there's not too much going on, but I'm not exactly sure. I mean, there is some, there is some face paint and stuff in that kind of makeup. I don't know if it's enough. And then there's Nuremberg. I don't really know what the makeup is really in Nuremberg. I know people are saying, well, I mean, there's Russell Crowe. No, I think that's all just Russell Crowe. I don't think that's makeup. Or, I don't think that's, extensive makeup on him. So, I don't know. And then we get to visual effects, which I, oddly enough, feel very content in. I feel very content right now in visual effects. Because VES did a lot. Okay, for mustache. But Avatar Fire and Ash, it did about as well as it should have. You know, it got 10 nominations at VES. I think it was 10 nominations. And ironically enough, the only films to ever get double-digit nominations at the Visual Effects Society Awards were the Avatar films. Like, those are the only films to have ever gotten double-digit nominations at the Visual Effects Society Awards. But then you have the other films. I have The Lost Bus at number 2. It performed above and beyond what I thought it was going to. Because here's the thing. In the 2020s decade, there has never been a film that got 4 nominations and missed the 4 nominations at VES and missed the Oscar nomination for visual effects. In the 2020s, that has just not happened. That has just not happened. So, with that in mind, The Lost Bus got 4 nominations. But the big shock of it all was that The Lost Bus didn't even get nominated for supporting visual effects. It leapfrogged that category right into the main category for outstanding visual effects in a photoreal feature. What does that tell us? That tells us VES is really digging Lost Bus's work. And I can see why. You look at the visual effects breakdown. There's a lot going on. People were saying this is going to be 13 Lives. It's like, no, 13 Lives is very different. 13 Lives, yeah, it had very seamless effects, but it was also very still. Like, it wasn't really moving around a lot and doing a lot of crazy stuff. The Lost Bus is. And at this point, The Lost Bus is stronger than Deepwater Horizon, because Deepwater Horizon didn't even make the main category like this film did. No. The Lost Bus is so locked in right now. I'm very cozy in that. Superman did not make the main category, which is a little weird, but look what did get in over it. Jurassic World Rebirth. No, that's not going to get the Oscar nomination over Superman. And the other one, and plus, Jurassic World Rebirth, the main category was its only nomination. You know? And then there was, what was it called? How to Train Your Dragon. That was the other film that got in the main category over Superman. And that's not even shortlisted for the Oscar. So it's like, if it was like Tron Ares and the Electric State that got in over Superman, I'd be like, But no. But even then, Superman still got 4 nominations. It missed the main category, but it didn't miss a beat in any other categories. It still got nominated for 4 awards, which again, no film in the 2020s has gotten 4 VES nominations and missed the Oscar nom. It just has not happened. So, I am going to say that Superman is locked in for visual effects as much as it can be. F1 got 2 nominations, but again, it performed about as well as it should have. And they actually did release a visual effects breakdown for F1. The effects are really seamless, I gotta say. There's a lot of visual effects, a lot of crazy visual effects, and it is very seamless work. So, and then I'm still doing Wicked for Good. Now, yes, this film has not been doing well at all in precursors, but however, there are a couple things to keep in mind. 1, visual effects is the one category where it does not matter how big you are in Best Picture. We'll get to that here in a bit. But not being in for Best Picture is not going to hurt Wicked's chances one bit. It's just not. And again, I'll explain why when we get to Sinners and Frankenstein and the likes of that. So yeah. Wicked is fine. Like, not only that, but the effects are not only, I would say, better than the last film, but they're also more extensive. There's more going on. They have a lot of animals. They have that big twister in the film. And not only that, but like, just overall, the visual effects sequences are a lot more like crazy than the last film. There's a lot more. Basically, it's doing more intensive visual effects sequences in general than the last film, and that got nominated. And keep in mind, the last film got nominated in what I would consider a stronger year for visual effects. This is a weaker year. And Wicked for Good got one Visual Effects Society nomination, but so did the last film. And again, not being in Best Picture is not consequential to this category. Historically, being in Best Picture does not matter. And again, we will get to that here in a bit. Wicked for Good, I think, is just fine for a nomination here. And I'm not doing Tron Ares because, like, if it wanted to show some pretty decent strength, I think it would have needed to get the main category nomination, but it didn't even do that. So, no. And I think it got, like, what, 2 nominations? And one of them wasn't even for the main category. And not only that, but none of the Tron movies have been nominated. Both were shortlisted for visual effects, but neither were nominated. So I'm just like... And not only that, even in F1, they don't go into the Tron world as much. It's mostly stuck in the real world. So, like, no. And then we get to Sinners. I never bought Sinners for visual effects, and I still do not. For many reasons. People are saying, well, it's just a big Best Picture contender. It could just get in off of that. When has that ever actually worked, though? When has that ever actually worked? Oh, but Wicked. Wicked was a big fantasy film with magic and CGI animals and stuff. In hindsight, of course that was going to get in. But, like, it's never mattered if you're in Best Picture. Never, 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 never. It's never mattered. No. Because if it did matter, then The Substance would have been nominated. Oppenheimer, people were saying, well, Oppenheimer's just going to get in for visual effects because it's just a big contender and this is a weak year. Guess what? It didn't even make the top 20. No, it didn't matter. Poor Things got shortlisted for the Oscar and it did not get nominated. Everything Ever All at Once didn't get shortlisted, but people were saying that whole year that, oh, Everything Ever All at Once is going to get nominated because it's such a big contender. And it didn't happen. Mank. People were like, well, I mean, Mank, that's a film that's in Best Picture, and it's a weak year for visual effects, so that could get in. No, it didn't happen, because they don't care about the Best Picture nomination. Trying to think of what else was a big thing. Oh yeah, Black Panther. Black Panther was Marvel's first film in Best Picture, and everyone thought it was going to win visual effects, and didn't even get nominated. No, it did not even get nominated. What was it? Oh yeah, the previous year, you had Dunkirk in the running for visual effects, and that was squarely in Best Picture. Didn't get nominated. The Shape of Water won Best Picture, and it did not get nominated for visual effects. Arrival. People were saying, well, that's going to get nominated for visual effects. Didn't get nominated for the Oscar for visual effects. No. The list is extensively long for films that were in Best Picture and were considered to be visual effects nominees, but ultimately did not happen because the branch genuinely does not care if you're in Best Picture. It has never mattered. It does not matter how big of a contender you are. You could be in for double-digit nominations, and the visual effects branch will still snub your ass if they are not impressed with the visual effects. It has historically never mattered. I don't want to hear any, and we keep saying this every single year. Every single year, I have to tell people this. Whenever some Best Picture film is in the running for visual effects, they're like, oh, it's a big contender. It could just get in off of that. When it's never been that way. It's never, ever been that way. The Aviator didn't get in for visual effects. Remember the Aviator, fucking Martin Scorsese? Everyone thought that film was going to get in for visual effects. Nope. Didn't happen. It did not happen because the visual effects branch didn't care. Historically, it has never mattered if you're in Best Picture. Never, never, never mattered. They look at the visual effects themselves. It's just never mattered. So no. I do not think Sinners is happening. Now, granted, I'm not saying the effects in Sinners are bad. They're not. But, you look at the visual effects breakdowns, it's mostly stuff that's in most movies, like backgrounds and stuff. Again, it's seamless, but there's not really a whole lot of crazy stuff going on, so it's easier to make it look more seamless. And yeah, they did the twin effects, but here's the thing. Every movie where they have the same actor playing twins has twin effects. All of them do. The whole split screen thing, like everyone's like, whoa, that's impressive. It's like, I mean, yeah, it's cool, but every movie with twins does that. All of them do that. And then people go, but they also swapped their faces with visual effects. It's like, to my knowledge, from what I could see, that was like for like one scene, or at least one major scene, I should say. And that was for like the fight at the end, where like, and even then, it wasn't a lot. It was not a lot of scenes. It was not a lot of scenes, or not a lot of scenes. It was not a lot of shots where they were doing that. It was like very like, and the shots that they did have them do that with, it was like a lot of it was very like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's like the shots were pretty quick. They didn't go on for a long time. And people are going to go, what about the Halo rig that they had? It's like, from what I understand, like, they weren't using that for, like, actual motion capture. They were mainly using that for, like to get, like, a full, like, 360 look at his head and seeing how Michael B. Jordan's head and face react to light. But, like, to my knowledge, there was not really a lot of motion capture going on. If any, for that matter. And again, it looks like they didn't use it for long. I mean, like, the most of what I could find of that Halo rig was mainly, like, for the barn scene, which was where that fight was, because that probably had the most difficult scene. That was probably the most difficult scene to have the two brothers in the same shot together, because they were fighting. But it's not a long scene. It's just not. I just really don't think it's enough. And even at the Visual Effects Society Awards, it only got nominated for one award, and that was for Best Supporting Visual Effects, which that was the easiest category it could have gotten into. If it wanted to put up much of a fight, then maybe it could have gotten into like Best Compositing, like The Irishman or something. But no, Sinners didn't really do that well at VES. Like, and if you're a supporting visual effects contender, and you're trying to get in for the Oscar nomination for visual effects, I feel like you need to prove your case more than some of the bigger films. Because with the bigger films, there's, like, for example, yeah, Superman didn't get in the main category, but there's a lot of competition, but it still didn't miss a beat anywhere else. And, F1, sure, that got like 2 nominations, but it still made the main category, and it's still pretty obvious why that's getting a visual effects nomination. Sinners is one of those films where it's like, they really have to make their case for it. And I don't think they've made their case that strongly for visual effects. So I just don't have a reason to predict it right now. I just don't have a reason to predict it. Like, the visual effects in the movie are visual effects you would see in a lot of movies. And yeah, they are rather seamless for the most part. I mean, the snake wasn't really seamless. The snake looked kind of weird. But really, for the most part, it's like, I'm just not really seeing it for Sinners. And again, it does not matter how strong a film is in Best Picture. Historically, it has never actually mattered. Name one time where it actually mattered. And you can't say Wicked, because the first Wicked was a big fantasy film that had a bunch of CGI animals and a lot of CGI landscapes and stuff. And people are going to try to say, well, that had bad visual effects. No, they weren't. Wicked's visual effects were good. Like you're just complaining. Stop complaining over everything. God. But like if you want to talk about real bad visual effects, look at like Black Panther, all right? That movie's visual effects were so bad that even visual effects artists themselves were laughing at it. And even Oppenheimer with like that whole nuke explosion thing, like what the fuck was that? I love Oppenheimer. I love Black Panther, but come on. Those were not good effects. Wicked is just like very solid effects. And there's a lot of them. So it's like, no, Wicked got in because it was an across-the-board visual effects contender. It had so many different kinds of visual effects, and given the kind of film it was, it kind of made sense for it to get nominated for visual effects. So it did not get in just because it was in Best Picture. No, stop it. No. But yeah. Jurassic World Rebirth, I feel like well, for one, the only the last time a Jurassic Park film got nominated for visual effects was The Lost World in '97. So I'm not really going to consider Jurassic World Rebirth for this. And then I don't know. Yeah, and plus it only got like one nomination at VES, so it's like, eh. Like the Jurassic World movies, like the Jurassic Park World movies, whatever. Like they will always get shortlisted, but they never get nominated. So yeah, Frankenstein. Oh, Visual Effects Society cooked this movie. It cooked it like it is burning hot. Like red alert, dear God, because it got 0 nominations. Now, it already is pretty rare for a film to get nominated for Best Visual Effects with 0 Visual Effects Society nominations, but it's worse for Frankenstein, given how, like, it's a Best Picture film. Because the only film in all of Visual Effects Society history to get nominated for 0 awards at VES and still get the Oscar nomination for visual effects is All Quiet on the Western Front. And you could make the argument that the reason why it didn't get in was because it was such a late-breaking contender that Netflix was just not really pushing it until the very last second. But by the time VES happened, it was too late. Frankenstein's been out for a while. Some would argue it's a top 5 for Best Picture. And the fact that it missed it missed VES and didn't get a single nomination anywhere. That is bad for it. That is bad. So no, like Frankenstein, I think that's just not happening. And then The Electric State, you know, like again, 0 nominations. Like, it's not in Best Picture, so I guess it's not as critical, but I would be honestly a little bit surprised if The Electric State got in. I would not be upset. I mean, admittedly, I'd be like, well, I mean, it's definitely not because you like the movie, because no one likes the movie, but, so I would respect, there would be a little bit of respect there, so, yeah. You have my respect, Stark. Sound. I'm feeling pretty good about this. Like, visual effects, I'm very, very cozy in. Sound, it's not as cozy, but I'm thinking, all right. Now, granted, we do not have the Cinema Audio Society Awards, but admittedly, it's like, because we have Sinners. I think that actually wins sound now. It's been winning a lot of sound precursors, and, oh no, I'm thinking. One battle after another. I mean, that could also win just by being a big Best Picture frontrunner, so sure. I don't think F1's winning sound. I know a lot of people are predicting it to win sound. I'm not, because the only film in the expanded Best Picture era to win a sound Oscar without being nominated for Best Picture was Skyfall, winning sound editing. But even then, there's a catch, because it didn't win the award alone, because it actually tied with it tied with what was it with Zero Dark 30, the Best Picture nominee. It tied with that film for sound editing, and now there's only one sound category, so the likelihood of something like that happening again are even more minimal. So I don't think F1's happening. I just don't think F1's going to win sound. Frankenstein has a lot of crazy, sound going on. Like, there's, monster sound effects, monster roars, destruction. It's, probably going to get nominated. And then there's Surratt. I think out of all the categories that Surratt is shortlisted in, sound might be one that it could actually get. I'm not going to go into spoilers, but there are a couple. Well, for one, I guess one thing that you would know is that there's music. Music, easily, the music is good. That's good for it. But there are other things in the film where I'm just like, I think that's going to be a sound nomination. So, yeah. I think Seurat's going to be like a bit like that could get nominated for best sound probably, because a lot of the other films I'm just not really feeling. Avatar: Fire and Ash missed every single category at the Motion Picture Sound Editors Guild nominations. Yikes! Even Avatar: The Way of Water made a couple of nominations, so not great. Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, maybe. But also, it didn't get any nominations. Now, to be fair, there have been some films that got no nominations at Motion Picture Sound Editors that did get movies that did not get any nominations over there that did get the sound nomination Oscar, like The Creator. But that was a really hard one to call, so I don't know. So I don't know if I can do Mission Impossible. Wicked for Good, if it was in Best Picture, sure, but I can't really do that if it's not in Best Picture. Superman would be an interesting nomination, but I don't think that's happening. I don't know if that's happening for sound. I can't really do that. So, yeah. And then Springsteen, Deliver Me From Nowhere. I don't know. I think that's just going to get shortlisted, but it is shortlisted, but I don't think it's going to get the nomination. I don't think so, really. But I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about the top 5 for sound, but I guess we'll have to see. Then we have original score. The top 4 I'm very confident in. Sinners is winning. Yes, Sinners is winning and is one of the most deserving score winners in a while. One Battle After Another, Stupid Piano Keys, that better not beat Sinners. But so far it's not. So, Hamnet. I think that's just in. Frankenstein, I'm pretty sure that's in. And then there's that last slot, which everyone is going crazy over. Because F1 was nominated at the Golden Globes and Critics' Choice. I actually would not mind an F1 score nomination. I thought the score in F1 was actually very good. But, however, I don't really see a reason to predict that right now. So... and the reason why I don't think there's a reason to predict it right now is because A, it's not in Best Picture, and because the thing is, like, in recent years they have been prioritizing Best Picture nominees unless you're John Williams. Like they have been like prioritizing the Best Picture nominees, and I know people are going to say, well, Wild Robot got in. Well, Wild Robot was all like, yeah, it got in, but also like there were only 4 Best Picture nominees in the shortlist. Now, I'm not saying that's like an equation that's just going to magically happen every time, but again, sort of like editing, I'd rather hedge my bets on Best Picture nominees. Still. And I'm not doing Marty Supreme because I feel like the fact that it... first with F1. F1, it missed the BAFTA long list, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it missed the long list at BAFTA. So, let me just make sure, because I'm pretty sure it's kind of done in score right now. It's kind of done. But Marty Supreme, it missed the Globe nomination, which is very weird. I feel like that might actually get snubbed. And I'm actually going to go with Begonia. I'm going with Begonia in score. Again, the film is really on the rise, and there's one precursor I'm really looking out for when it comes to this, and that is the Society of Composers and Lyricists Awards. They have had 6 ceremonies so far, and their track record is weird, because 3 of those times, they went 5 out of 5 with the nominees. Because they have it split up into a few different categories, but ultimately, 5 out of 5, yeah. But then the other 3 times are weird. One year they had 3 out of 5 with the Oscar nominees. Another year they had 2 out of 5, and then another year they had 1 out of 5. But the weird thing there is that, like, when you look at those years, they snubbed like some of the most obvious contenders. But here, there's not really an obvious snub. Like, it's not like they snubbed One Battle After Another or Hamnet or Sinners. Like, no, they all got in. So it's looking like the Society of Composers and Lyricists Awards nominations are going to be 5 out of 5 with the Oscars this year. And they did nominate Begonia, and they didn't nominate Marty Supreme or F1, which is interesting. Or Seurat. They didn't nominate Seurat either. I don't think they nominated Seurat. the two that are on the outside that they did nominate were Begonia and Train Dreams. Now, Begonia was in like the big budget category. Train Dreams was in the small budget category, or the independent category, I should say. I'm very interested in this because I'll go with Begonia for now because it does look like it's going to be a big contender, and it does have like that, like some really brash music, like loud brash music that could really appeal to the Academy. And again, Begonia is just a really strong contender. But then again, maybe the Academy prefers the more quiet music of Train Dreams, which maybe that could happen. So it's one of those two really that I'm looking out for. Nuremberg has a great score, but I don't think that's happening. Diane Warren, Relentless, no. Jay Kelly, Wicked, Avatar, House of Dynamite, Tron Ares had a Wake Up Dead Man, Truth and Treason, Captain America, nope. I'm still really mad that like the Testament of Anne Lee didn't get in here, and yet Captain America Brave New World did. I'm not saying I would nominate Testament of Anne Lee, but in a list of 20, you might as well put it in there. Like, what? And then we get to the final category of the night, which is Best Original Song. I don't know if I can do the shorts. All I will say is, well, I'll talk about the shorts later on. I'll talk about it after this category, so yeah, stick around. But Best Original Song, Golden from K-Pop Demon Hunters has kind of emerged as the frontrunner. It's won the Golden Globe and the Critics' Choice Award. Fine, I'll put it at number 1. But again, if Sinners wants to have a really, really good day, I can see a world where it still wins Original Song for I Lied to You. Because that is literally the scene of the movie, and that song, like, is a big part of it. But there's not really much to go off of in terms of, in terms of predicting it for an Oscar nomination for Best Original Song, so I don't know. Dear Me from Diane Warren, Relentless. Diane Warren, she's going to get nominated easy. Train Dreams, I think, is going to get nominated for Song. It makes sense. I think it was nominated for both the Golden Globe and the Critics' Choice Award, and it wasn't even nominated for Best Picture over at the Golden Globes, so this seems like a good bet to make. And then there's that last slot, which, you know what? Nope, I'm not doing a Wicked song. Nope, I am not. Again, Wicked for Good has just performed worse and worse and worse and worse and worse with every precursor. And I just do not buy that the song, like either song, which even people who like Wicked for Good say that the new songs are the worst part of the movie. It's like, why would I predict that? Especially if Wicked's not getting Best Picture. What? So I'm not doing Girl in the Bubble, or especially not No Place Like Home, but Girl in the Bubble, I'm just like, no. I just do not think that's happening. Not when Wicked is falling this bad. So what am I predicting? Last time I seen the sun, I am predicting that to get a nomination for Best Original Song. Like, and people are going, well, it hasn't gotten anything yet. It's like, neither did the Sing Sing song, like a Bird. That didn't get anything before the Oscar. This Is a Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once. That didn't get anything before the Oscar nom. It does happen. It does happen sometimes. Also, Wasage from Killers of the Flower Moon. That didn't get any precursors, and that still got in at the Oscars. It's like last time, original song is a category where if you wanted to take a big film and put it in for original song, despite no precursors, you can. And I think Last Time I Seen the Sun is going to get in. And plus, this allows them to actually nominate Miles Caton for an Oscar. I'm not saying that's my reasoning for this, really, but that's just kind of a little factoid. But it's like, if Sinners is going to be this strong for Best Picture, why can't it get 2 songs in? Just why not? Especially since Wicked is just doing this badly. No. Some maybe could say that Salt Then Sour Then Sweet could get in from Come See Me in the Good Light. It does have like apparently a very beloved like songwriter here. I'm scared though. I don't know. I really don't like the song, but it could happen. I don't know. I'm not sure. I've already explained why Wicked's not happening. Dream has won from Avatar Fire and Ash. I would actually like this to get nominated. I mean, given how this, this original song shortlist, it's complete cheeks. It's like Dream as One is actually not cheeks. It's actually a very good song. I actually liked it than the other two Avatar songs. Like I liked it more than the other two Avatar songs. So yeah, Dream as One. But yeah, Drive from F1. I don't remember that song at all. No. Dying to Live from Billy Idol. Should be dead. I don't think that's happening. Sweet Dreams of Joy from Viva Verde. Was it Viva Verde? No. No. I don't think that's happening. Our Love from the Ballad of Lost Island. That is the worst song on this list. So, no. I mean, granted, I'm not just going off of my opinion, but I genuinely don't think it's going to catch enough steam to where it's going to get nominated. As Alive as You Need Me to Be. This is one song that has been admittedly, you know, like vibing in my head a little bit more than I thought it would. But yeah. And then Highest to Lowest from Highest to Lowest. No, I do not think this is happening. And yeah, guys, just to make sure, yes, those are my final Oscar predictions for nominations. And so, yeah, again, I'm not going to do the shorts because I genuinely don't know enough about them. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to copy the Oscar expert and maybe just do a little thing on my own because I feel like, what was it? The Snow Bear? I'm trying to think of what Snow Bear, whatever the polar bear one is. I think that actually might win the Oscar because it was completely animated by like one animator who's like a big veteran in the industry, and it's like this like years long work kind of deal. And I feel like, yep, he might win an Oscar for this. So yeah, I don't really see there to be. Yeah, and all the other categories, like, I don't know, I'm just gonna copy the Oscar expert. So, yeah. Anyways, guys, now I'm gonna pass the question off to you. What are your final Oscar predictions leading up to Thursday? I'm really excited for this. I'm going to try to do an Oscar nominations pre-game show on very early Thursday morning, probably at around 7 a.m. or so. It's going to be like, oh. And then I'm going to like transition to that once the Oscar nominations are getting ready to begin, I will switch that over to a members stream so that, you know, they can watch. So if you're a member, you can watch my live reaction. I'm still going to edit it and post it as a video, but if you want the more interactive version of that's live, just like how I did for the SAG Awards, then consider becoming a member. If you want to become a member, it's $2 a month. You get access to members-only badges, emojis, members-only videos, members-only streams, which I'm doing one to around this evening, actually, at around like 5. I'm going to do a members-only stream, just to talk about stuff and whatnot. You also get early access to Oscar predictions videos. You get a lot of fun stuff, and also access to my members only Discord server. So please consider becoming a member. It means a lot to me. And so yeah, guys, let me know in the comments below what you think, and be sure you hit that subscribe button, because if you don't, all your Oscar nomination predictions will be incorrect.